Hello everyone and welcome to the mechanized world of Timberborn Update 2. My name is Michal and I'm the communication manager for Timberborn, and today I'm joining Adrian, our game designer, in showing you the cool stuff that has just arrived to the game in Update 2. Hello Adrian.
Hello, Michal.
There's a lot to unpack here, but before we dive in, we want to thank you all for the amazing support you have shown us over the past year. Today we are celebrating the first anniversary of Timberborn, and we have just announced that we have sold over 750,000 copies. So it's an amazing support, and we want to thank you for that. And as we said, we are celebrating this with Update 2. And the main course of the Update 2 is the golems. Adrian, why don't you tell us who the golems are?
Okay, thank you, Michal. So, the golems are basically, as you mentioned, mechanized beavers. There are some workplaces that are too hazardous for the beavers, or maybe if you're folktales, you'd rather just relax in a lido or near a campfire while a robot does your job. So, for that, the beavers have developed, based on some excavated technologies or remains of human civilizations, they created a robot in their image without some of their shortcomings, which is, for example, the need to sleep. The golems will require a bunch of different stuff to sustain themselves compared to beavers. For example, the folktales golems will require fuel, and then you can also increase their performance using a special catalyst liquid, which is also made from some natural resources. On the other hand, Iron Teeth golems, they don't require stuff like fuel. They're more like clockwork contraptions, so you will have to have some spare energy in your power grid from your water wheels or your engines to basically wind up the golems. And to improve their performance, you'll be able to make special control towers, which emit a signal in an area. So then you sort of have to cover your map in that signal to have the max performance.
We'll get to the Iron Teeth golems in a moment, but as you can see, we are now in a beautiful settlement run by the folktales. So why don't you show us how the folktale golems are created?
Okay, so first of all, to unlock the golems, as it's a new set of buildings, we'll need an appropriate amount of science. So I've made some observatories here and accumulated some science points. So let's go ahead and unlock some of the new stuff. Let's start with the part factory, actually. But for that, it's a pretty massive building. As you can see, it's 3x3. But the tricky part is, to make a golem, we don't just need to, well, just create golems out of raw parts. They're complicated machinery. So for that, we'll need a golem assembler, and the golem assembler, as the name suggests, assembles the golems from parts. And the parts, there's a bunch of different parts. There's a chassis, there's the golem limbs, which we've had some liberties. They double as both arms and legs, and tails. And there's the golem head. They have to see somehow. So we need a set of 3 buildings. They can be stacked on one another, but I don't think I have the space for that quite yet. So let's go ahead and make some space here. We can put those factories on platforms. We also need a road to connect to them. So let's just plan it out a bit. Let's rotate this factory a bit. I think, yeah, this will fit here nicely. We just need some beavers to destroy these. We don't have golems, so let's fast forward to the day. Connect the road here to allow them to have some more fun walking around, not have it be a dead end. Let's set the staircase here. So soon we should have those 2 beavers, yeah, destroy those 2 trees, so we'll be able to place down the blueprint for the part factory. As I mentioned, the golems also need fuel to run, so while we can create the parts and soon enough the assembler for them, we should probably start stocking up on the fuel first. So for the fuel...
What kind of fuel do the golems run on?
Well, it's a biofuel, sort of. It's made out of different plants that you can cultivate in Timberborn, and some water. It needs to be a liquid still, not some mush. So this seems like a lovely spot for this refinery. So for the recipe, we have a few choices. We can just go with a standard carrot, sunflower seeds, potatoes, or spouderdock. Or then we can also create the catalyst. I think we're pretty much a potato society in here. So let's choose the potato recipe. I've already set up some routes from the main district. Okay, so we should have some potatoes coming here soon, I hope. Oh yeah, actually we already have 300, yeah. So while this stuff builds, we can also take care of the storage for the biofuel. So let's just unlock that. It's pretty massive storage. Well, the refinery itself can also store some stuff. This will definitely be helpful. Let's see where we could just... I think this is going to be a nice spot. So basically what the golems will do when they work, they will have to refuel every now and then. So it's nice to just put down that tank near the factories. This is not the perfect spot, but it should do for now. Maybe once one of these log piles runs out, if it runs out, I'm not sure if we use quite enough logs, we might be able to place it in a more comfortable spot.
But as you said, one of the most important differences between golems and beavers is the fact that they can work 24/7, right?
Yes, exactly. So they will work 24/7. They are not affected by the work hours, even if you set them to 0. The beavers then will just relax while the golems do all the work. Which means that, for example, beavers can now, in a safe way, without risking starvation, that they can live a perfect life, pretty much, in utopian society.
I'm not sure if a beaver would agree that a perfect life involves doing no hard work, but we'll get to that later, I guess, as soon as we have our first golems running and performing the duties that the beavers normally have. I think that some of your beavers have some status icons on top of them?
Yes, exactly. So now some of the industrial buildings, and even not exactly the industrious buildings, but the mine, which we currently don't have built, they will give the beavers injuries. The rates depend on what kind of building it is, but the rule of thumb is the more advanced the building, the more likely the injury. The injury is also... let's pause the game a while so I can... for a moment so I can just catch an injured beaver. So as you can see, this bar, it has a certain range. Different buildings will give a different value to that bar. So injuries sustained in, let's say, the lumber mill, the beavers can just walk it off in like less than a day, probably. But more than that, it's going to be pretty impactful on your production. And for that we have a set of new buildings related to the beaver well-being, which are the medical beds, which I've already gone on ahead and unlocked. The medical beds can just work on them on their own, and you can just plop them anywhere in the range of your district, and the injured beavers will go there to rest. which will already improve the recovery rate. So we have 3 injured beavers. I think it's mostly because we didn't really heal them, but let's just put down 3 medical beds and increase their priority so we don't all of a sudden run out of resources to make our golem buildings.
Is this the only way that you can cure your beavers?
Currently, besides waiting, yes. We can also improve the performance of the medical beds by the more advanced healer building, which will use our new plant dandelions, which I've been stocking up for a while, actually. My beaver has gotten bored of getting dandelions and started collecting berries. But we should have a nice supply of the dandelions. Okay. We can probably make that soon. You can see they are recovering still pretty slowly. You can see the bar moving. Making a healer will benefit greatly. So, yeah, as you suggested, we're waiting for the pod factories to finish. We can unlock this healer. It doesn't require power. It will require fuel, though. So make sure you have some logs in here. I think this will be close enough, both to the dandelions and the medical beds. We probably will need some new workers here soon, though. So after you've created Golem Part Factory, or even before that, if you like micromanagement that much, you can choose the recipe. The part factory can only do 1 at a time. So let's just go from left to right. We'll set this to chassis, this to limbs, so perfect timing, and heads. So yeah, a golem will need 1 golem chassis, 1 golem head, and 4 golem limbs. The golem limbs take significantly shorter time to make, so you don't have to make an extra 4 factories for the limbs. Oh, yeah, obviously, forgot to connect power to these buildings. Let's figure out the best way to connect it here. We have this water canal running around, and some power lines here. So let's try and put some power lines through around here. Actually, yeah, probably want to get rid of this. This is going to be a bother in a second. Luckily, we didn't put any materials in there. This is going to be problematic to connect. We're gonna have to make a small staircase down there. Or 2. Yeah, let's just put it like this. Through here. I'm actually not quite sure if we can connect over the bridge. So let's just replace it with a set of 2 platforms for now.
This is unscripted, everyone.
This is unscripted, yeah, so please don't judge me too hard on my Timberborn mastery. I'm a bit out of the water here with the camera pointed at my face. But yeah, okay, so the power line will connect through here. Platform here. And as usual, we probably want to increase the priority. Actually, not that much. Let's make this first. And these 2 next. And the next don't matter for now. Alright. Actually, we can already just start lowering this. We don't need this platform. Oops. Didn't rotate that so, and yeah, this is going to be another one of those raised lines of power. Right. And soon enough we should start building these. The beavers will be able to make these since they can build 1 floor higher than them. But we probably want to make that before these. And these should be coming nicely in a moment. Let's see. We have 2 injured beavers right now. As you can see, I think this one was working in the smelt. Yeah, this one was working in the smeltery. It's easy to get burned if you're beaver working with metals. I think this was his fellow metal worker. But I think we can also... I guess there is sort of one more way to deal with injuries, which is to just overpower it with sheer numbers of your beavers. So what we can do right now is create a bit more housing in here and just create a bit of a buffer so we don't have any vacancies. There will soon enough be filled by those golems. Good timing. We still don't have power here though. So let's pause these for now so they fill those empty workplaces. Let's see. Housing. Stay focused.
It's a good thing that we have asked you to play the game. I guess I wouldn't recover from a crisis like this and would just break down and cry during the recording.
It's all part of the Timberborn cycle. Just break down, but always come back, learning something new, stronger than ever, more beaver than ever.
Yeah.
Don't really
Unless
have fun for
you
this.
realize that you have no beavers left and then you have to start over.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes, even if you don't have any beavers left, you might want to move to a more metal solution. Although that's sort of like a dead end. You can't make any more golems. The metal society will collapse. So you need to pay a lot of attention.
Yeah. Oh, I think our healer has finished.
Oh, yeah.
It's built.
Oh, we do not have a worker here though, so let's increase the priority on this building. So now we have our very happy Hokujin, very above the average well-being. He's going to whip us out some medicine in here, and soon enough we should... Yep, he just delivered it to this medical bed. So he'll spread that medicine evenly. The only way to distribute the medicine is through the healers. So they also, more or less before, outside of just delivering medicine, they also perform a little checkup maybe on the beavers in the beds. Whatever you think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that bar is going down much lower. We just ran out of medicine though. Hokujin, I hope, will work on that. Oh, we have power. So let's unpause these, and I think we want to move a bit of our population from the first district into the second. Yeah, definitely we have 14 unemployed beavers here. So for that we can use our new and improved migration panel.
It's a highly requested feature. I've always wanted to have this and now it's in the game.
Yes, so a thing that a lot of people have been asking about is an ability to migrate your beavers automatically. So for that you can still migrate your beavers manually. Using these arrows, which you set a district on your left. We currently only have 2 districts, so this won't exactly do much. But we could just move a few more beavers. We have, let's see, 5 vacancies in the industrial district. So we can just click here 5 times. But to make sure that if any beavers perish in here due to old age or, well, any other thing, we might want to increase the minimum on the district to basically maintain the current 30 beavers. So what it will do is whenever the industrial... Well, it's called industrial, it doesn't have to be an industrial district in your game. It will basically steal beavers from the main district, but to make sure that it will not steal too many beavers, we can set it to 45 or to match the workplaces in here, but to still keep a bit of a buffer when a beaver needs to retire. We can set
Is
it to
it possible
fort.
to completely lock out a district out of migrations? Like coming in
Yes.
and coming out?
If you don't want, for example, this industrial district, you can prevent the emigration from the district. And if we had a third district that would be in need of beavers, they will only leave the main district. You can do the same for automatic immigration if, for example, you want a sort of closed-off society in your district. And you can set those values to both adults and baby beavers. And soon enough, hopefully, looking at those part factories, golems as well.
Perfect.
So we are working on these. Yeah?
Yeah, I wanted to ask about a different type of a new beaver status that we have in the game, because you have already shown us the injuries, but that's not everything that we have right now. Do you have any lumberjacks in the
Yes,
neighborhood
we
maybe?
do have a lumberjack, and I just noticed there is something wrong with our little Tazingo running around. He's broken his teeth while cutting the trees.
What
So
does it mean?
broken teeth are another status effect that is exclusive to the lumberjack flag. If your beaver cuts down too many trees in this post-apocalyptic environment, his teeth can get damaged. He's not quite... he doesn't have it quite that as easy as the beavers we know. So to work against that, we can put a teeth grindstone, which is a building that you can place fairly early on, hook up with a street, and soon enough someone will build it. Maybe if I just poke them with the priority stick. Oh, obviously, it's outside of their work hours. Still thinking about my golems that should be coming together soon enough. This will take a while though. It's an 18-hour process, and we can increase the time here, but beavers, they still do a bunch of stuff. Even when working, they will go eat, they will go drink. They can also get injured. Golems, they didn't have these problems. They're the perfect workers. They are pretty expensive to maintain, especially early on. We probably want to have some more logs in this district, so let's just increase this to, let's say, 200. Just double it to be safe. We don't really build anything in here, and we're a potato society. We only grill potatoes. That's the only place where our logs are going. Oh yeah, and we do
Speaking
have...
of potatoes and growing them, there is also I may be getting ahead of myself right now, but you could probably put up some beehives maybe to increase the speed of the potatoes growing.
That is true. We don't have that much. Oh, never mind. We have paper. Then we can probably get around putting some of that beehive magic. So, okay, the drought is coming, but we're playing on the 1,000 Islands, which, as the name suggests, it's full of islands and also full of water. I've gone ahead and just plugged up the majority of the water outlets on this map, so the water should last. So yeah, that's a nice spot. Well, let's think. Do we want to be extremely optimal with those beehives?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. If you say so. Those will take a while to empty, so let's just have our beavers here. Or Katanja beaver. Go ahead and destroy that. And let's just start making those beehives. It's should cover the majority of the place here. And after they gather these potatoes, we'll place the next one. Actually, yeah, okay. Yeah, double checking now, we do have a really big paper surplus. We're not really using that for anything right now. So let's place a bunch more beehives. This should be good enough. Just eyeballing it for now. So while that's done, let's see. We have some biofuel almost maxed out on the storage here. So let's place down that biofuel tank that we had to get rid of recently.
Nobody really remembers that.
Yeah, soon enough we would be warned by that refinery worker that he can't really perform anymore. So let's see, we could do some funny road business above these two. Place the biofuel tank here, and we can actually start making a golem soon enough. First we'll have to hook it up to a road, obviously. But let's just show off that beautiful vertical architecture. Let's see. Let's unpause so the beavers start working on some of the stuff. And we'll want some roads and stairs. So let's connect these. And soon enough, these should be ready. Our beehives coming along. We should probably put to work those jobless beavers. So let's add some workers. Yeah, this is going much faster now. Pretty much immediately. Beehive here. Oh, I overshot it a bit. Oh no. We want to be optimal. Was it 2 tiles? Yeah, let's go 2 tiles. And let's put back our beautiful potato, the core of our society. And a beehive here.
Obviously,
So
there's a very specific reason that I asked Adrian to put up those beehives. We also have something negative related to those little structures, and we're about to see that, I guess. Yeah, we have the first victim, or was it just a hungry beaver?
Well, we'll have to take a look. Yes, this farmhouse beaver has been stung by a bee, which we've caught him running. So let's see if we can get a nicer angle of that beaver. Well, his face is quite swollen from that bee sting. Bee stings are not exactly as dangerous as, let's say, some of our beavers that... Oh, we actually don't have any more injured beavers. But compared to an injury from a smelter, it's fairly safe. It will make a beaver unhappy, though. It will lower its well-being, which is another argument to just optimize some of those workplaces using the new golems. Bees can't really penetrate a metal or even just wooden shell.
Even though they are post-apocalyptic beavers, that's important.
Unless something evolves, just like beavers, maybe the bees are not the bees we know. But yes, you can see those potatoes are growing much faster than the other ones. Let's see. Oh, the staircase is done. So now we should be working on that biofuel tank. We can probably make that after the golem assembler, so let's increase the priority on that. We should have the resources for that, though. Yeah, we're still safe. Let's see. Fast forward a bit. Is there anything else we can do right now? It's the question. As you can see, we have some showers here. I'm going to show off the showers here. I'm going to interrupt you for a moment. So the showers are a new well-being building. that I've been a bit too hasteful and placed down already, because I just can't handle my beavers just drying out in the sun. So, you know, as beavers do, they like being in water, but you can't do everything in water. So just to counter that, we now allow beavers to make showers, which they will regularly visit. It's one of their new basic needs, to have their to have their fur wet.
Makes sense, and it makes for some not suitable for streaming jokes, I guess.
We're talking about beavers. I think beavers are pretty safe for work. It's all up to you. How you understand that? Let's see, how is that assembler coming together? The gears are almost done. Then we just have the metal blocks that are procured quite far away, but they're still in range of this district. Let's see. Can we increase some workers here? Maybe let's migrate some beavers here, and let's see. I don't think we want to use the minimum quite yet. I think this is a good number. So let's just move 2 beavers. We still have a bunch of jobless beavers thanks to our expansion of the housing, but those should improve the speed at which we'll have the golem assembler going. Okay, so this is going along nicely, even though we're in a drought.
Yeah, even though it's a 1000-island landscape, we still have to take care of our beavers, because as you can see in the distance, the water is gone from
Yeah, the
some
water is
areas
gone.
here.
Basically have 2 halves of the map now. I've plugged up this, well, currently right one. So we basically created a giant pond. It does still have an outlet here, because I wanted to keep those water wheels running. I do have a floodgate here, just for emergencies. Let's see. The water levels are still nice. I think if they drop below like 0.2, I'll want to close that floodgate, but I think we're safe for this drought. We're still not on the maximum duration of the drought, so at some point I'll have to build more alternate energy solutions. Oh, and we have our first golem coming together. And the biofuel tank right next to it. So let's see, this will take a while. This will take 36 hours. We only have 1 beaver available. Let's lower the workers in here. There we go. Now it will go a bit faster.
I think it's a good moment to show us the grindstone. I think there is a
Grindstone. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anyone sick right now with the teeth right now.
Oh, I was hoping to see a beaver that has broken teeth.
It's a bit drastic, but it's necessary. Let's see, dehydrate. No, we still have water here. Okay, we're safe. We should have... Oh wait, no. I forgot. We've expanded on my water industry in the industrial district. Let's see, this will take a moment to complete. So let's see what else we can focus on while this comes together.
Could you actually, you have mentioned that already, but could you run us through the new well-being system? How is it different from the previous iteration?
Okay, so previously we had, well, still do have all those well-being buildings like the campfires, the terraces, the carousels or the mud baths, and the decorations like shrubs or roofs, which I've just plastered all over both of the districts. But the way it worked up to now is basically we had each need on the beaver, and then it granted some work speed bonuses on the main release. We've experimented with some different things on the experimental branch. So first we sort of tried out the direction of specialized bonuses. But we discovered that it was still really hard to just micromanage the beavers on that level, unless you were a really advanced player. And even then, it was difficult, especially if you had like 100 beavers like in here. So we streamlined the design a bit. Right now, the beavers are back to the 3 buffs, which is the work speed, the movement speed, and the life expectancy. We do have a different buff, I think, yeah, that's a child. It will have a growth speed buff, which is also something that we've reused from the main release, from the update 1.
And how do you increase those values?
Yeah, so the well-being, even before, it was still like basically a high score, but now it's a more meaningful value. It basically gives you an insight into how well your beavers will perform without having to go through the whole list or the summary to see which buffs you have and which you don't. So now you have a bit more freedom in how you want to make your beavers perform better. For example, if you're really into vertical architecture, you can make more rooftop terraces instead of campfires that take a lot of space on the ground and you can't build above them. So it's much more readable right now. The way well-being now, the score works, is that it's separated into tiers. So as we can see, from the 10th or like from having 10 well-being, we have a working speed bonus of 20%, and the next bonus we'll get at 15. Similar to the movement speed, now we have the bonus from the 12, and the next one we'll have at 22. So now everything's just neatly summed up on the top of the beaver panel. And also the average.
Is it similar with food, for example? Is it possible to just focus on one particular type of food if you are a carrot enthusiast, for example?
Yeah, so maybe here, like, we're very much potato enthusiasts, but if you're a carrot enthusiast, that's going to keep your beavers going, but there's definitely some better stuff out there. As you can see, food, especially the processed ones, give you different well-being values. So the carrots and sunflower seeds, which the beavers eat raw, they only give you +1 well-being, but the grilled potatoes, the religion of this place, they give you 2, and they're pretty easy to make, so they're a pretty neat thing to make early on. But in some future we probably want to focus more on the bread, and maybe some more extravagant foods, maybe even maple pastries, which will give us a whopping +3 well-being.
Everybody loves maple pastries.
For sure. Let's see, how is our golem coming together? Still pretty slow, and that's because the golem buildings have quite a high injury rate. But maybe we can increase those working hours. That's a sacrifice we can make for a brighter future, I think. Let's see, we're doing fine on everything still. How's our water doing? Oh, okay, well, I did overestimate my water storage capabilities in this, so let's just cut the water supply to those water wheels, and this will force us to perform slightly worse for those 5 days. But
it's
for
a
now,
good thing that we are playing with folktails right now, which means they can use the wind force, right?
Yes, the windmills are definitely great value for the folktails. I think this is actually a good point to expand our energy grid with the newly added gravity batteries. So let's just put down those two to give a bit more information on the gravity batteries, and the reason why I put them all over the way here is the gravity batteries will store more power the higher they build. Basically, they have this they are this crane with a container filled with rocks and other heavy stuff that beavers can find around, and they will lower that container to basically let out the accumulated power. You can still replenish the power by having a surplus of power in your network, which we don't have right now. We're actually just barely skimming by. While the windmills I mentioned are great value, they are pretty random still. The batteries will definitely do wonders for their performance. So let's see, this battery is almost ready, so let's just make sure that it's connected. Do we connect it like this? We might want to actually put some of that paper that we've only been using for beehives, and let's just put it down here. And just to be ready for a future windmill, we can make that last and connect that as a freeway junction. Okay. So this won't do anything right now. We actually, to show it off faster, we could hook it up earlier, because it will take a while to complete that windmill. So let's hook it up like this for now. And this priority will be fine still. Yeah, we are in the red when it comes to the energy.
Yeah, but to recap the batteries subject, you have mentioned that they would be more effective had they been placed in a higher position, right? So they support the verticality of Timberborn by working together with other tools that we have in the game.
Yes, you can just use terrain here if you're lucky enough, but well, some of the maps there will be a bit more flat. So we might want to stack up a few buildings and just let those batteries hang from the roofs. Oh, there we go. So we can see the batteries have started draining. I don't think they will last us that long. But another thing you can do, you don't have to put it on just housing. You might as well just make a tower that reaches as high as you can go, and just have massive power towers for power storage.
Is there a cap on the storage, or is it just as high as you can make it?
Well, the power storage cap, it comes out from how high you can make it. So there is a certain height limit in Timberborn, but that you can't go over. But it's still pretty significant compared to what we have here.
Okay.
Let's see. That golem looks like it's going to be done soon. Look at it. It can't wait to start working. Oh.
What are your plans for this little fella? Where do you want to employ him?
I think that we could probably use a bit more paper just to get ready for those windmills, because they will start eating through our paper. We only have a few windmill worth. And basically, to not repeat the situation, we want to be ready. But
so is it just possible to employ the golems wherever you want, or do you need to do something else too before you can have the golems work there?
It all depends on the faction. So both Folktales and Iron Thief have their own specialties or preferences. So, for example, in the Folktales faction, we will not have to do anything special to employ a golem at a farmhouse. It will be free of charge. But for the industrious building, for example, we'll have to spend some of those science points that we're building up nicely in the background. The especially expensive part is golems making golems. So that's more like an endgame target. You're going to be reliant on golems making those until... or sorry, beavers making the golems for now. But I
What's the
hope...
progress? Yeah.
85%, so we're just about out of the drought. It's still amazing they've been working this well on it in the drought. As you can see, the windmills are no longer going. And the batteries, yeah, they're all the way down below the water. But the drought is over.
Yeah.
So now we can see the beautiful water flow. And soon enough, those red warnings will hopefully fade away.
They will be replaced with other warnings, I assure you.
Yes. Let's just lower those floodgates before I forget, and then we have no golem production for another 2 days. But let's see, we have 2 injured beavers, which is within expectation. We still have a healthy supply of medicine, even if we start producing more golems soon enough, I hope. Actually, we have 13 jobless beavers, so we can probably start thinking about making a second assembler. Because looking at the ratio of the part factory speed and the assemblers, those three part factories should be able to supply 2 assemblers. And there we go.
You probably know what you are saying, because I believe it was you who set up this balance in the game, right?
Yes, you know, spreadsheet values, make sure that divides by 2. Hopefully nothing is wrong. I'm just hopefully keeping myself in the safe. Oh, actually, okay.
We don't have workers, right?
We don't have workers. I think they got sucked up into another higher priority workplace. So let's just increase the priority on this building. And sure enough, it's going through. Okay. But now we can also use the average or like the population well-being panel just to see how we're doing on those beaver needs. So right now we're looking at the industrial district. So we could definitely use some more carrots. Actually have no idea how they're getting carrots, but they must be sneaking them from the main district. Or maybe it's the newly welcomed immigrants. But I think we could probably give them some showers. Yeah. So for the... let's see, the showers. We'll need some space. You put them on the edge like this, similar to the water pumps. So let's just put a platform. Let's see, I think 3 platforms should be good enough. And just make them as soon as possible. Make sure they're going
Sounds like a great idea to be able to shower and admire the views of an area that is no longer under a heavy drought.
It's a lovely view. Big water fields. No longer an ocean though. It's a pond, or I'm not quite fluent in pond definition, so it might still be like an inner ocean or something. Or an inner sea, sorry. An ocean, that would be much more grand.
I believe we have our first golem running
That's
around
true.
somewhere.
We have our first golem running around. Let's see. We can find him. Let's use our panel in here. Barrowbot 1. Here he is.
Yay.
So happy. Sitting on a bench because he's not working anywhere. You'll be a paper maker. There we go.
And as we can see, as soon as a golem is employed, the lights turn blue, in contrast to lights turning yellow in other buildings, so you can instantly see where the golems are employed.
Yeah. So this golem also, it has its own sort of well-being, which is a machine. Sadly, he doesn't feel. For now. So he has this condition value, which is currently on 0. He does have his biofuel need met. So right now he has just a flat 45% and 30% work and movement speed bonus. So we can increase that by making catalysts. For that, we'll have to make a second refinery. Let's just put it down here. We'll probably need to move some workers soon. Let's see, we have 6 vacancies here. We can probably migrate some. Let's see. Do we want to migrate a whole 10? We can, like, just do a bunch of them like this. We will probably... Yeah, we probably had homeless for a while now. So let's just give them some more housing. Let's see. Oh, this is a great space. So this will be good enough for our beavers for now. Oh yeah, it's ready. So what we want to do is make the catalyst. For now I think we can store it in the refinery, but we also have a special catalyst tank. Because catalyst, well, it might be a bit more reactive than a simple biofuel, so you can't just put it in the same thing.
That's a good excuse for not having explosions all over the town.
But yeah, let's see, we're making some, or will soon be making some catalysts, I hope. We have maple syrup. Do we have... oh... I made sure to have some sunflower seeds before we started here, but I think the beavers ate through our supply. Let's see. We're trying to
Where do
move
you grow
some
your
here.
sunflowers?
Grow my sunflowers here, but I think
Oh.
we want to grow more. Sadly, we don't have much space here for now. I think the drastic measure is going to be just getting rid of the carrots for now.
No, not the carrots.
We can keep a few of them going, I guess. Maybe let's just keep this filled. Just
Thank
for
you.
sentimental value. Let's see. We won't have that for now, but another golem should be out soon. Yeah, it's just about to be done. Let's see how we got it going
Oh,
out, but
there
it
it
was really
goes.
fast. So we can put another golem somewhere. I think that we might want to have probably work on the metal production, which will cost us another 1000 science points. Barrelbot 2 has reported for duty.
Yeah,
But we no longer have the homeless issue.
I think it's a good moment, Adrian. Could you run us through the golem's lifetime? How do you make sure that they keep operating?
So to make sure that the golems are operating, you basically need to make sure that they have access to their biofuel. That's their basic need, the only thing they need to operate. They do have a finite lifespan though. which you can see on this durability bar in here. Oh, we've actually made some of our first catalysts. I guess our beavers found a way to steal from the main district. So as you can see, this beaver's condition has increased, and now it has a whopping 90% work speed and 60% movement speed. So we'll have a lot of paper going out. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the golems right now. We've developed a few different versions on the experimental branch, if you've been following our progress on there. The golems for the folktales and Iron Thief had behaved a bit differently. So for example, the folktales golems, you could recycle them to get the resources back, and the Iron Thief golems you were able to just maintain infinitely. For now, we've dumped it down a bit to just make it a bit easier to play around with, because it just made you to require a really big infrastructure everywhere, and it was really inflexible.
Okay. I think it also made it more difficult to, for example, migrate the golems between the districts, right?
Yes, that's the infrastructure part, because if I wanted to put the golems in this district, I would have to first make a full set of buildings. And right now I can basically, in the folktales case, I can just send biofuel to this district and the golems will work perfectly. Of course, well, the last thing I need to make is the biofuel tank. But it's still much easier to work with and definitely more fun.
Yeah, and I think that over the course of the experimental testing, we have also lowered the time needed to assemble the first golems, right? How early in the game do the golems come in?
So I've seen people make them within like less than 8 hours, even less actually. That was even earlier, before we just made them appear earlier. But I think now they're a safe mid-game choice. Like you can basically choose some more strong options for the mid-game instead of just focusing on one set path. You can just branch out into the golems, which will give you access to just faster work and performance, or maybe you just want to make your beavers happier. Definitely the happiest beaver will be faster than the best maintained golem still. But the golems are still easier to maintain on that level.
Yeah, but it's also important to know that the golems have some exclusive abilities that beavers do not have. There are some jobs that only beavers can perform. What are those?
Yes, so, well, as golems, they are still machines, so they can't work in the observatories or the inventor huts. They do have their own special workplaces though, which we'll get around soon enough. But yeah, if you want to produce science, you will need beavers most of the time. There's still some ways. For example, you can use the new recipe for the mine, which will allow you to instead excavate artifacts from the ground, which the beavers can research, and in turn, as a result, the mine will produce science.
Okay.
Iron Thief also have their own way to create science, and I just noticed I blocked the scatterer from work, which definitely wasn't a happy beaver. Or maybe he was happy because he could just show up for the job and just sit.
So maybe it's a good moment to jump to our other settlement we have prepared for today, where we will show our viewers another settlement that has the beavers unlocked. But spoiler alert: the golems will be much more prevalent in the new settlement because Adrian has prepared some extra duties for them. So give us a moment for a very smooth transition, and we'll see you in an Iron Thief settlement.
See you in a moment.
Okay, hello again. Now we are in a massive Iron Thief settlement. And before we get into the nitty-gritty details of what we had in front of us, let's ask Adrian about the Iron Thief golems. What are the specific features for the cockheads?
Yeah, so as you can see, we have quite a few golems running here compared to the previous settlement. And they are still made in the same way. We still have our combo of 3 golem part factories and 1 golem assembler. We could make another one to be as efficient as in the previous one, but I didn't quite need as many golems. But now to maintain the golems in the RNT faction, the cockheads have 2 bars. So as you can see, there's still the good old durability bar, but the basic need for the cockheads is the energy. The energy is basically obtained from winding up golems on these stations, the charging stations, which you can just place around. They need to be connected to power, and yeah, they will slowly charge the golems. And that's basically to keep them going and working, and to improve them you can use these control towers. So the control towers are another new building for the Iron Thief faction, which will use science points to operate instead of power. So it will use 3 science points per hour, and it has this massive range around itself that will boost the control signal need in the golems. So just because of that, they're even more efficient than the Folkdess golems, because they don't have to take extra breaks to grab some of that catalyst. As you can see, the control tower effect, it runs out pretty fast after getting outside of its range. So you really want to just create a blanket of that yellow color around.
How do you get so much science power? Sir, how do you get so many science points to keep the control towers running all across your settlement?
Yeah, so one change we made, well, another change, really, we made in this update is for the science in the Iron Thief. So now they are even more different than the Folkdess in this, that they don't have the observatory, but instead they build the number crunchers, which are basically these large number machines, which are unmanned. They do require quite a lot of power, though, to keep going, but they do also give you a ton of science points, and you really need those science points to keep those control towers going.
Okay. So once we have our cockheads that are up and running, they are boosted by the control towers, what is the best high-end use that you can find for them? Spoiler, it involves those huge machines that we can see at the bottom.
Exactly. Those are the new dirt excavators. They are the only way to procure dirt, which can be used to basically create your own terrain. Terraforming has been another highly requested feature, and now we're adding it with update 2. So no longer can you only detonate hills, now you can build your own. And compared to just making structures out of levees, because the new terrain, as the normal terrain, it interacts with water, you can still plant on top of it. So for example, if we go here, this is one of my farming districts, and I've already put some stuff together here to get us started, but this is still quite a small amount of terrain. So to change that, we can take those terrain blocks from our toolbar, and we can just start stacking them up. And I believe I've sent some golems in here, but let me make sure. Yes, there are some golems in this terraforming station. So the terraforming station is another building that works together with the dirt resource, and it basically hires the golems that put down the dirt. It's still a heavy-duty job, and basically the terraforming can only be operated by golems. So golems are the only ones that can work in the dirt excavator, as you can see. And they are also the only ones that can work in the terraforming station, basically squishing that collected dirt together into solid blocks. So we have some... yeah, they started building in here.
What are those arrows that can be seen on top of these blocks?
Yes, so the arrows are the tool that will basically make it a bit easier to place down your dirt. You can rotate the ground blocks, and depending on the way the arrows are pointing, the golems constructing those terrain blocks, they will follow those arrows. For example, if I were to create a line like this, this terrain block, as you can see, is going to wait for the construction behind to be finished, which makes it easier to not get your golems or beavers stuck, since even if you have poor planning with normal buildings, you can just go ahead and press delete or destroy that building. Terrain, it still requires dynamite, so it's a bit harder to avoid, or well, it's easier to avoid even because of those arrows, but it's definitely harder to reverse. So let's just...
As soon as you make some mistakes and some of your golems get stuck and just run out of fuel or do nothing, you will soon probably learn how to use those arrows properly. That's the idea, anyway.
Yes. So let's see, those golems are working nicely on this. We can speed up the time a bit. And let's see how our excavators are doing. So as you can see, the excavators, this one has already been running for a while, but this one is pretty new. Besides just excavating terrain in like the sense of this progress bar here, they will also visually, as you can see right here, dig into terrain. They will destroy terrain below them, which you can use in a bunch of ways. You could just level some terrain, if you'd like, just all the way to the bottom of the map. You can fill it with water. Although if you were to build below it, you would probably have to destroy this monstrosity just rotating. I wouldn't want to live in there.
But to make it clear,
yeah.
As soon as the drill reaches the bottom of the map, it will continue to work, right?
Yes, not to worry. Basically, after it's done destroying the terrain and reaches the bottom of the map, which this one might have actually just done, it will just produce dirt infinitely. So you don't have to worry about that. You can just focus on creating the hills and terraform – whatever you can dream of, pretty much.
Yeah. And what is cool to know about this feature is that because of the addition of the terraforming to the game, we have also increased the height limits on the maps, right?
That is true. So there's still like a certain limit. You can put terrain in the map editor, or we can set it because we're using the same tools that you have access to. But just to not block out players from creating terraforming up on those maps, you can still put terrain a few blocks higher. I unfortunately can't remember the exact value right now. I think it was like 6 blocks.
Yeah, something like that. Or maybe even from 12 to 20. I'm not sure.
Maybe even more. For that, you will have to consult the patch notes because
Yeah. If you're in for some difficult literature, there are the patch notes on our Steam page that you can dig into, so to speak, and they're quite lengthy, but there are a lot of features and changes and tweaks that we have in update 2 that we haven't even mentioned.
yes, update 2 has been in the oven for quite a while, but we really hope it was worth it.
Yeah. And here's a shout out to all our awesome players that played on the experimental branch that provided their feedback, because basically every single thing that we mentioned here in this playthrough had some sort of changes to them. Some changes were quite radical, like in the case with golems and the reworked well-being system, and others were smaller, but also were made because of the feedback that we received. For example, with the migrations, that also changed their how they worked, basically, with the addition of the automated migrations.
Yes, pretty much everything that you can see here has gone at least a few rounds of reworks. Oh, we're
I
destroying
think
the train
that
here nicely.
everyone watching this would probably want you to make that big big explosion and to remove that hill from the map. But I think we'll save this for the very end of our playthrough. I have a personal request. Could you show us some sort of a terraforming application that would show us the water physics in action? Because
Sure.
we have quite a few places where we could do that.
We could do something in here. We also have some... Oh, yeah, some terrain here. So as you can see, this terrain is going to be raised, which is going to irrigate it. Well, this might not be the best example, actually. Let's take a quick look around the map. I think the original is going to be the best. We've actually run out of dirt here, so we can probably just get rid of those and just rely on those dirt pieces that we're going to have delivered into here. So for that we can use our subtractive terraforming tool, which is the dynamite, and it's not going to be the most elegant irrigation channel, but it's going to work.
Sure. And it
At least,
involves explosions, so it's always a good idea.
Yes, at least if we make sure that there's going to be a platform in here. Well, I could have done the other way around, but let's just make sure that the dynamite comes together first. We should, though, impose this building, and let's just give our gatherer a break and have him put together the dynamite. Yep. Oh, no. As you could have heard in the background, we've heard the bells for the end of the shift.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to wait a moment for that explosive to complete. Doing that, we can see where the day doesn't end on 16 hours in, and see the excavator still going. Oh, the hill is still going there.
No rest for the wicked.
No rest for the wicked. And just to showcase the... let's probably want to make sure that we don't detonate any beavers around.
Why not?
So let's just... okay, go like this. Quickly. Put up a platform and a road on top of it. We probably want to detonate this as well. Let's see, while this is going, I think going to even give the farmers a break, because we're pretty good on food for now at least. I think we could redirect some golems maybe to the farmhouses in the first district. So let's oh no, District 2 is the bane of not renaming my districts. Always have to think twice. Let's give our first district a few more beavers. 2 should do. Yep. And just replace this farmhouse with them. Right, now I guess we can also migrate the population that we've just freed up from the first district. Oh, there's still some... actually, no, we have 10 vacancies. Okay, that's good. So let's just move 2 more beavers into here. Oh. Oh yeah, it's supposed. Was wondering why they were not working. Okay. Let's get rid of this. And soon enough, we'll be able to make that irrigation tunnel.
You mean a controlled flood?
A controlled flood, yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Almost forgot. There we go. Just get rid of those roads to keep it nice and neat. Let's hope you can make it before the drought, though. Maybe we can increase the work hours a bit. Oh, no. Actually won't be necessary. Alright. Let's detonate. Dynamite. No one died, luckily. So as you can see, we built up this terrain here, but the water from this canal that I created with the levees does not reach into here. So we should be able to... oh, actually, we have too little water in here, so we'll have to do it in a bit of a controlled distraction way, and just for the sake of showing it off.
Yep.
There we go. Green terrain.
Hooray!
Now, basically created a floodland underneath us, but it works.
Yeah, that's the basic idea with terraforming. You are able to put up the new terrain blocks that behave just like normal terrain blocks, which means you can use them to grow your crops or to create natural areas that will be filled with water, whatever you want to do this, whatever you want to do with this.
Yes, definitely the big thing is just reclaiming, well, not exactly reclaiming, well, reclaiming, yes. If you've blown some stuff up that you regret, now with the update 2 you will be able to put it back together, or just think in completely new ways by building or like making terrain up rather than down. There we go. Made a floodgate in here, so once that fills up, we should get a controlled flow in there. So yeah. Is there anything else to show, or is it time for the big fireworks show?
Yeah, I just wanted to let you finish that floodgate and then we could blow everything up.
Yeah, that floodgate. Oh, yeah, there we go. Water is flowing through slowly. There we go.
Yeah, perfect.
And just for the sake of it, oh yeah, I just have a habit of making potato-based societies, sorry.
I'm Team Carrot, so I can't agree with this approach, but okay. Whatever.
But yeah, now we have this giant explosion pile, so let's just watch it blow up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Looks great in the sunset.
There we go.
Perfect. Now we are going to invite you to another live stream or playthrough where we will be rebuilding that hill from the ground up. I'm just kidding. Okay, I guess with this explosion we'll be wrapping this up. So thank you very much for watching, and once again big thanks to all our players who have supported us over the last year. We are celebrating the first anniversary of Timberborn, so it's great to have update 2 ready for this. And we are going back to work on update 3, which is going to be focused on the most popular requests and on redesigning the in-game systems that we know that could be better. So sit tight, we'll be revealing more details in the future, not telling you when. And for now, thank you very much. We hope you'll enjoy update 2. Thank you very much for showing this to us, Adrian. And
You're welcome.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye bye, thank you for watching.